Thank you for the organizer. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone joining us from around the world. Welcome to the discussion series at the first thematic discussion in welcoming the International Year of the Women Farmer, presented by the For Better Global Coalitions. I'm Angel. I will be the moderator for today's session. Today's discussion focuses on highlight relevant and transformative theme integrating technology, digital innovation, and AI for inclusive and youth-driven agri-food system transformations. As technology continues to reshape the future of agriculture and food system, it is increasingly important to ensure that innovation remains inclusive, accessible, sustainable, and centered on people, especially women and youth who play a vital role in building resilient agri-food system worldwide. We are truly honored to be joined by distinguished speakers and experts from different countries and disciplines who are contributing to the advancement of food systems, nutrition, artificial intelligence, and digital innovation. Before we begin the session, may I kindly ask for everyone cooperation with a few housekeeping notes for our online event today. First, we encourage all participants to keep their cameras on whenever possible to create a more engaging and interactive atmosphere during the discussion. And second, please use the official virtual background if available. And third, kindly rename your Zoom profile using your name and country, for example, Maria and Indonesia. And to ensure smooth audio quality, please keep your microphone muted unless you are invited to speak. And finally, if you have any question for our speakers, please write them in the chat box during the presentations, and we will address the selected question during each Q&A session. And thank you very much for your cooperation, and we hope you enjoyed today's discussion. And now allow me briefly to introduce our speakers today. We will welcome our first speaker. We have Dr. Jang. He will share about computational approaches to food complexity. He is an assistant professor of the Food Informatics and Artificial Intelligence Group at the National University of Singapore. He received his PhD in computational biology from the CAS and completed his postdoctoral training at ATH Zurich. He has published over 50 articles in peer-reviewed journals, including SciAv Bioinformatics and JFC. And additionally, he served as an associate editor of NPJ Science of Food and as an editorial board member of several journals, such as the Journal of Food Science. His contributions have been recognized with the IUFOST Young Scientist Award, the ACS Irving Sidor Global Mobility Award, and the President Award of the CAS. Let's give a virtual applause for Dr. Jang. And we will welcome the next speakers. We are equally honored to have Natasha Yanuzi, and she will talk about technology for women in agri-food systems. Natasha is a food security and public health professional with a background in livestock and international agri-food systems. Natasha currently works for a nonprofit providing medically tailored meal for individuals experiencing chronic illness. She currently serves as a Young Scientist Group Research of FAO's World Food Forum. And let's send her our heart reaction. And next, we will welcome our third speakers, Dr. Pafita Nuji, who will present on AI and women's empowerment in agriculture. He is the Associate Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology and an Assistant Professor in the Department of Artificial Intelligence, with a PhD specializing in explainable artificial intelligence and postdoctoral research experience at the National Taipei University of Business in Taiwan, and she brings over 18 years of expertise spanning both academia and industry. As a certified data scientist, her research focuses on explainable AI, machine learning, credit risk analytics, and healthcare AI. And Dr. Nuji is recognized for her pioneering contribution to developing transparent, trustworthy, and impactful AI solutions that bridge cutting-edge technological innovation with real-world application across finance, healthcare, and decision-making systems. So let's welcome her with open mouth emoji. If you have in your Zoom, you can give it to her. And we will also joined by Dr. Ayas Mukaram Sy. He will present the perspective on engineering sustainable food system. He's a researcher at the Institute of Food Science, Faculty of Agriculture, Food Science and Environmental Management, University of the Debrecen. And his work focuses on food science, functional foods, sustainable agriculture, food innovation, and AI-supported approaches in food system. Let's give a lot of thumbs up emoji for him. And finally, we are pleased to welcome Gideon Eime, who will speak about AI for nutrition system and youth food behaviors. And Gideon is a PhD student at Uppsala University, Sweden, and lecturer at Mikael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike, Nigeria. He has received a robust graduate level training, including dual master degrees in human nutrition and data science. And his doctoral research titled Global Application in Nutrition Informatics focuses on leveraging digital innovations to strengthen food and health systems across 22 countries. And in addition, Gideon has developed and applied cutting-edge computational approaches to support healthier food environments and improve food-related behaviors. And so let's give a big round virtual applause for Gideon and all our speakers today. And we are grateful for the presence of all speakers, participants, collaborators, and organizers who have made this global discussion possible. We hope today's session becomes a meaningful space for exchange our ideas, inspiring collaboration, and strengthening collective efforts toward a more inclusive and sustainable agri-food for future. So without further ado, let us begin our discussion. Before that, I will inform that our speakers will have 20 minutes, 15 minutes to present, and 5 minutes for Q&A. So please use time as possible and as maximum as you can. And it is my pleasure to invite our first speaker, Dr. Dasan Jang. Doctor, the screen is yours.
Thank you so much. Let me share my screen. Great, perfect. Thank you so much, Angel, for your kind introduction, and also thank the whole organization team for the kind invitation and also organizing this great event. My name is Dachan Zhang. I'm from the National University of Singapore, Department of Food Science and Technology, mainly working on food informatics and artificial intelligence. It's truly our honor to share some of our recent progress on using machine learning to unveil 3 layers of the food complexities. I believe the majority of the audience here are already expert in agri-food systems. But still, food is a more complex system than we commonly perceived. Taking this fresh green apple as an example, it comprises around 150 common nutrients that are essential for our living, such as vitamins and all the lipids and the minerals. In addition, it also comprises a large number of bioactive compounds, which do not provide energy but still essential for our health. So far, over 4,000 bioactive compounds have already been discovered in apple. And this is still the tip of an iceberg because many bioactive compounds have not been discovered yet. And these form the first layer of the food complexity, or we can call it the food chemical complexity. Here we have two major tasks. First is to unveil how many food compounds exist in our diet. And second, what are their individual contributions to health and also to the overall flavor. The second layer is the food component interaction complexity, because when we're talking about texture, stability, food flavor, nutrition, quality, safety, and even the authenticity, they are usually not shaped by only one molecule. They are always shaped by the complex interactions among multiple food components. And third is the food perception complexity. Especially in the eating process, we perceive food not based on only one biological pathway, but there are actually multiple pathways play a role in this process, such as olfactory, gustatory, and trigeminal. So for the first layer of the complexity, the food chemical complexity, in the past years, we have been working a lot on using AI to predict the bioactivity, flavor profile, toxicity, safety of the food molecules, peptides, and proteins. Here, I'd like to take a recent research work as an example to show you how can we utilize machine learning to discover those hidden nutritional dark matters in our food. And in this work, we specifically looked into the sleep-promoting volatiles, or we can call it VOC in short. Like most machine learning process, we started from dataset preparation. So here we collected 244 positive samples, meaning the small molecules that have been proven to have sleep-promoting activity from literature, patents, and database. And equally, we collected the negative samples from those data resources to shape the training dataset. And the second, on this dataset, we benchmarked three QSA modeling strategies, namely the molecular descriptor-based models, the graph-based models, where we treat the molecules as a graph structure, and third, the language-based models. Here we treat the molecular formulas as a natural language and use the models to learn the hidden principles behind those language expressions. After that, we use the best performing model to screen the promising candidates from over 2,300 VOCs that have been reported in aromatic plants, and finally validate our findings with animal experiments. So due to the short time frame, I'm not gonna introduce too many technical details here, but here is the final result. So using the best performing model, we prioritized 5 promising candidates from the over 2,000 candidates, and we found 4 of them. The 4 marked with the blue color demonstrated the desired sleep-promoting activity, especially via the prolong of the non-rapid eye movement sleep, which is usually treated or considered the high-quality sleep time. And besides the individual molecules, we also wanted to find out on the plant level or on the plant extract level whether there are any promising candidates that we can just, for example, use the essential oil or the crude extracts to treat the sleep disorders. So here we conducted another integrated assessment based on the molecules' predicted activity score by the model and their relative abundance across those plant sources. And among the nearly 1,000 aromatic plants, we prioritized several candidates with the most potential. I mean, some of them are already famous or well known, such as the lavender, and many of those have not been explored yet. But still, this work has a significant limitation. That's because we didn't consider the synergistic effects among multiple molecules. We are just, I mean, in this work, we are just combined the predictive scores and their relative abundance. So it's more like a linear relationship. And how can we use AI to unveil the synergistic effects? That leads to the second layer of the food complexity, the food component interaction complexity. Because we are talking about the volatile compounds. So here, still, I will use the volatiles, or let's say odorants as an example, and look into how those odorants interact together to shape the stable and recognizable food aromas. It's quite interesting, right? So for the food aromas, whether the aroma of apple or aroma of meat, they are always recognizable, even though they are totally different types of meat or different types of apple, but we can still perceive it stably. So here, we created KFO Atlas, which compares over 2,000 real food aroma profiles and nearly 900 key food odorants from thousands of publications, and use this resource to understand how food aromas is shaped and whether we can use AI to learn those organizational principles of key food odorants, which is defined as volatiles with odor activity values above 1, which play the most influence on aroma perception. And the figure on the right side shows the distribution of number of key food odorants across those aroma profiles. So the central 95% contained between 3 to 33 odorants. And we surprisingly found out non-food aroma is dominated by only one odorant. So to shape the authentic and natural food aromas, at least we would need 3 odorants interact together. And on this map, we mapped those over 2,000 food aroma profiles based on their odorant compositions. A shorter distance between 2 points indicate a higher compositional similarity in the food aroma formulations. Or in another word, a shorter distance indicate there are higher share of common odorants between the aroma formulations. We found most food aroma formulations are clustered based on their groups. For example, the alcoholic beverages presented by the blue points are clustered closely in this region. But we also found out some exceptions. For instance, in the subcluster or in the branch number 1, we found coffee pump tea is grouped together with beef brisket, beef analog, and chicken. And on the second cluster, cocoa is grouped together with a fermented ham. And on the last one, a very special steamed bread presented a very high similarity to the odorant composition of beef. Very surprising, right? And this inspired us whether can we recreate target food aromas by recombining those food odorants, especially whether we can create meat-like aromas using exclusively plant-derived odorants. So with this aim, we build a conditional variational autoencoder to design new food aroma formulations. I'm not gonna talk too much about technical details here, but in the application, we only need to tell the model what kind of food aromas we'd like to create. Then the model will generate the food aroma formulations, specifically the type of odorants we need to use and their relative ratios. To validate whether this CVAE model can achieve reliable generation, we use this model to generate in total 100 new aroma formulas, 10 for each of the 10 major food categories. Each formula consists of ranging from 5 to 20 key food odorants. And we asked a panelist group to evaluate whether those AI-generated food aroma formulas really align with your expectations. And here is the experimental result. Overall, we found over 73% of the consistency between AI and the real human perception, which is not perfect, to be honest, but this is already a very good start. Because here there are quite some difficult cases. For instance, some fruit products are misclassed as alcoholic beverage, which is actually understandable because many wine or cider, they do have fruity flavor. Yes, and further inspired by the convergence of the plant-based foods such as cocoa or punk tea, and animal-based products such as beef and chicken. We also investigated whether AI could create meat-like aromas using only plant-derived ingredients, meaning those ingredients can be found in plants. So here we created 3 samples based on this criteria, sample 1 to 3, and we found for sample 1 to 2, roughly 60% to 70% of the panelists reflected this is the meat-like aroma. And for sample 3, all the sensory panelists reflected this is exactly the meat-like aroma we perceived every day. We also looked into whether those AI-generated aromas could enhance consumers' acceptance and the eating pleasantness of alternative proteins. And here we used a plant-based protein-rich sausage as an example. The group E is odor blocked, meaning, so in this group, all the panelists, they only have the taste, but without the access to the aromas. Not surprisingly, this group showed the lowest pleasantness score. And all other groups are with both taste and odor and aroma. And those groups, and even just with air, they showed much higher pleasantness compared to the odor blocked group. And we found especially promising and interesting is the AI-generated plant-based aroma, meat-like aroma, even achieved a higher pleasantness in comparison with the real meat. To be honest, we so far do not understand the biological mechanisms behind this phenomenon, but we do believe this is a very good proof to explore whether we can use 4 plant-based ingredients to partially replace the environmental the animal-based ingredients with higher environmental burdens. The last layer is the food perception complexity. Due to the time constraints, I'm not gonna, introduce too much, but just follow the pre-air example. Here we also measured the brain responses when the consumers perceive the plant-based aroma profile and compared to those of the real meat and found a very high similarity, very high correlation, especially in the regions that are close to aroma. Especially to the brain regions that are responsible for the emotion and memory, which indicates the AI not only learned the compositional similarity, but also partially learned the biological mechanisms behind the aroma profiles.
Dr. Dachan, your time is over.
Great. Thanks for the reminder.
Sorry.
Yes. And just for mention, we also have some initiatives about AI in food science. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for Dr. Dachan. So everyone, we already have one question in the chat box. For Mr. Dachan Song, why to analyze bioactive compound, example peptide bioactive of food? You have time to answer the question.
Yes. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
The question is why to analyze bioactive compound, example peptide bioactive of food.
Is why to analyze bioactive compounds, example peptide bioactive foods? Yes, that's a
Yes.
great question. So we do believe all the food ingredients are equally important. So here we are looking into the food molecules, peptides, and proteins. And we do have some works on the bioactive peptides. Yes, and if you like to know more details, we would be love to connect after this event. Hi, Angie, I think you are muted.
Oh, sorry. We still have 2 minutes more. So if you have question, you can raise your hand and ask directly to Dr. Dachan. So everyone, if you have question, raise your hand. Okay, you can also leave your question on the chat box. So after the presentation, maybe still have time, you can just leave the question on the chat box. Okay, our time is over for the first speakers. So thank you so much, Dr. Dechen, for the insightful presentation. We will go to the next speakers. Let's give our heart reaction first for the Dr. Dechen and also our applause, online applause for him. Thank you so much. And we will move to the second presenter, our speakers, Natasha. Now time is yours. 15 minutes from now is yours time for it. Presentation.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you everybody for attending. And that was a wonderful presentation, hard to follow behind. But here, let me just share my screen. Can you see my slide? Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So I will just reintroduce myself. My name's Natasha Yanuzi. I am based here in the US. My background is in livestock systems. I attended Virginia Tech here in Virginia in the US, studying animal sciences and livestock systems, and then continued my education at the Institute of Development Studies in England, where I focused on international food and development. And my dissertation specifically focused on the industrialization of livestock systems and how this influences gender dynamics, specifically for women in the US in livestock systems. So that's a bit of what I'll touch on today. I currently serve as a manager of business development and outreach for a nonprofit here in Boston that provides medically tailored meals to people experiencing critical and chronic illnesses. So if somebody's undergoing some type of treatment or experiencing some type of illness, they'll meet with a nutritionist with our organization to best find a meal plan, and we then provide that for them. But additionally, I serve as a researcher with FAO's World Food Forum Young Scientists Group, and that's, again, more of what I'll focus on today. I serve on the Better Life Group, where we focus on gender disparities in agri-food systems. So specifically touching upon tech. And we recently, last October, published our report about elevating young women in agri-food systems in the upcoming, or in the current International Year of the Woman Farmer. So I will also share that report where this data is pulled from in the chat once I am completed. Yeah, so that's my background. But so we can jump right into it. So 30 agri-food systems employ 36% of working women globally, yet we often see that young women continue to face systemic barriers in accessing technology in agri-food systems. So that can include restrictive gender norms, limited access to land and capital, and especially so limited access to formal education and training around technologies in agri-food systems. So I'm here more today to kind of emphasize the importance in addressing these barriers that exclude young women from access and use of digital technologies in order to consider this going forward in integrating technology into agri-food systems. So we see that these challenges and barriers can look like gaps in usage and ownership, or barriers in education and awareness, affordability, electricity, in accessing these technologies. And we often find that when there is access to technological innovations in agriculture, this access and training is often gendered. So women will have limited access to equipment or extension services, and the gendered knowledge is rarely integrated into technologies for agrarian techniques. We also see that agricultural education is rarely institutionalized into education curricula, but in hand, see that digital technologies offer an opportunity for young women and girls to improve their access to quality education, both formally and informally, which then results in dignified employment and economic independence. So therefore, it's crucial for women to have essential, or young women and girls, it's essential for them to have access to digital technologies because it sets them up for success, both educationally and in formal and informal employment down the road. So essentially all that to say that digital technologies offered improved agency to make informed decisions, participate meaningfully in agri-food systems, and enhance young women's overall competitiveness in agri-food systems. So what does access to digital technologies and training look like for young women? This could be digital financial literacy, training in local languages, facilitation of access to mobile devices, and provision of access to financial services that have the potential to translate to empower young women with the capacity to elevate their income and standard of living through decent work. It's also crucial that the implementation and trainings and implementation of digital technologies to young women in agri-food systems is integrated through effective policies that addresses these disparities. So it's crucial to promote digital protection and encourage collaboration with technology companies and have this protection through policy to ensure that women's full participation in innovation and leadership is considered in addressing this gap in digital access. So we see that these digital technologies can empower young women essentially, especially when we're looking at SDG 4 and SDG 8. This must be approached through this intersectional, holistic view. So it can't just be giving women access to technologies and agri-food systems alone. It can't just be effective policy. It can't just be, companies, integrating technology into agri-food systems. It has to be all of these pieces together to ensure that women have equitable access that can assist in their development and growth in formal and informal agri-food systems. So to look at this from a livestock systems lens, I will be speaking from here, I guess, is more personal and slight academic perspective, but oftentimes we see in livestock systems that they can also be very gendered, and that when there is an implementation of technology in livestock systems, we often see that male counterparts are often first to integrate this into industrialized livestock systems, whereas women counterparts will fall behind. So during my research for my dissertation that focused on the industrialization of livestock systems here in the US, there was a large emphasis that when there was the industrialization of the livestock systems in the US, men were faster or had more access to implement these new technologies and industrialization in livestock production. And we still see the effects of that today. Still in the US, livestock systems are very gendered, and we see women and young women who traditionally, from a traditional perspective, weren't widely accepted into livestock systems, nonetheless industrialized livestock systems. So we see them turning more towards sustainable agriculture, organic agriculture, localized production, rather than industrialized systems. So given that women didn't or weren't necessarily encouraged to be trained or formally trained or educated in the industrialization and technologies and livestock systems, we see the effects in how they go into formal employment, into their adult life, and how they still integrate themselves into agri-food systems, but it looks a little bit different than their male counterparts. And that's not to say that there aren't women working in industrialized livestock systems, but that is there is research that supports that there is this pivot and this desire to find involvement in agri-food systems that aligns more with what they've experienced or have been trained in or value. And we also see there are programs or government incentives in the US that encourage women to be trained in industrialized or technological aspects of agri-food systems. So the US Department of Agriculture will provide trainings for young women. It's called the 4-H program. And this is a government incentive to train young women and encourage young women to be involved in formal agri-food systems and gain a better understanding of digital access here. So, but traditionally, a 4-H program or these government incentives were originally catered towards and designed towards, again, their male counterparts. So this shift in traditional agriculture here in the US and traditional training being catered towards man, and pivoting it to how can we change this so it benefits women, young women and girls in their classrooms, in their schools, that they can be involved in these industrialized systems and they aren't, quote unquote, behind their male counterparts. So I believe that was kind of everything I wanted to touch upon, and I will put this link to the World Food Forum Young Scientists Group research paper here in the chat. If it's something that you want to read, there's a section on digital access for young women in agri-food systems, where a lot of this data was pulled from. So if you want to read into it a little bit further, it will be right there. But yeah, that's everything for me. Thank you so much for having me too. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for Natasha. So anyone who have question for Natasha, you can raise your hand. We still have time. You can directly ask to her. Oh, there is some question on the chat box. So Natasha, what percentage women work in agriculture cultivation and what percentage work in processing and marketing? Thank you. The question is from Nana
Yeah.
Subiana.
Thank you, Nana. Honestly, I'm not sure of that answer off the top of my head. That is a great question, but I would have to look into that a little bit further. I apologize.
Okay. For anyone who still have question, you can just raise your hand or leave it in the text box. Okay. There is some question from WFF Indonesia. Traditionally, even when we try to provide formal training for women, cultural norms and expectation can still shape how far women feel comfortable participating in the food system, because many believe that fulfilling those roles is what is considered good for their community. How do you see this dynamic while still respecting cultural values and tradition?
Yeah, I think that's a really important piece of this. So I appreciate you outlining that. And I think in our research with the Young Scientist Group, that is something that we did try to touch upon, that it approaching gender equity in agri-food systems, it's going to look different based off of each individual cultural value. So I think in approaching it, it's important to, it's not a one program fits all type of approach. It's important to look at the cultural values and how you can implement training, you know, where people are and what people value, and have that cultural awareness, I think is crucial. So I think it's looking at each individual case as its own, and not saying, you know, here's a program that we can implement for everybody, because that's not how it's going to work. There are cultural values and traditions that must be considered in order for an educational or digital implementation success.
Thank you so much, Natasha. I think that's the question. Oh, there is some other question, but for Dr. Dachwan, we can read later, and some other question there for Natasha.
Sorry, I'm just trying to read the questions and catch up.
Okay.
I guess here, what are challenges faced by women in mastering technology and agriculture system activities? Again, I think that can vary. I think a large part of it is access to formal training and education. I think that can be a large piece of it, because that's the foundational work that you need in order to master a technology and agriculture system activity. So I think the different challenges in accessing that can vary a bit, but I think I would say access and training, formal training, is a large challenge.
Thank you for your answer. Thank you so much, Natasha. Thank you for giving us
Thank you.
insight about tech and women in agri-food systems.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I do apologize I have to
Thank
hop off,
you.
but thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, Natasha maybe will leave sooner than. So we are going to go to the next speakers. We have Dr. Pafita Nuji. She's the Associate Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology. Let's welcome Dr. Pafita.
Hello. I have shared my presentation. Is it possible to share the screen? Hello.
Maybe in minute they will share it. Just give
Yes.
them some minute. Yeah.
Yes.
Angel, do you have the slides of Dr. Pavita? Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
Good day, everyone. I'm Dr. Pafita Nuji, Associate Dean for Faculty of Science and Technology at Vishwakarma University, Pune, India. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizing team for giving this opportunity for Vishwakarma University. And theme of today's presentation is integrating technology, digital innovation, artificial intelligence for inclusive and youth-driven agri-food system transformation. So now let us start with our discussion. Next slide, please. So agri-food systems form the very backbone of every human survival and also economic development and environmental sustainability. They encompass everything from farming and livestock production to harvesting, storage, processing, packaging, transportation, marketing, retail, and ultimately consumer use as well as waste management. These systems connect producers, supply chains, consumers, industries, and all ecosystems. We can see here their goal is very simple in concept, but it is very complex in execution. Because we should ensure food reaches people efficiently, equitably, and sustainably. We can see some figures here on the screen. Globally, around 2.5 billion people depend on agri-food systems for their livelihoods. And agriculture contributes nearly 4% of our global GDP and around 4.8 billion hectares of land, that is more than 1/3 of the Earth's land surface that is used for agriculture worldwide. So agriculture remains one of the largest employers on the planet, particularly in developing nations. Agri-food technology aligns with multiple sustainable development goals as well. Next slide, please. So there are multiple challenges in agri-food systems, which leads to food insecurity. The four main pillars of food security are availability, access, utilization, and stability. They all under threat simultaneously. And an especially concerning statistics is nearly 395 million rural youth live in regions expected to face declining agricultural productivity due to climate change. Now, the question before us is, how do we feed the growing world on a changing planet with shrinking resources? The answer lies in transformation. That is, smart, inclusive, and technology-driven transformation. This is where the story becomes not just urgent, it is also exciting. The world has nearly 1.3 billion young people. That is, around 44% of the working youth are already engaged in agri-food systems. Nearly 85% of the youth live in low as well as middle income countries. That is, the very place where agricultural transformation is most needed and most impactful. Young people today are actively contributing across multiple stages of agriculture as well as food system. However, youth-driven agri-food transformation requires the right enablers. Technology, digital innovation, AI and data systems, inclusion, partnerships, and also sustainability. Without these pillars, ambition alone is not enough. Next slide, please. Now, let me turn into the technologies themselves, the powerful tools that are quietly but rapidly reshaping what it means to be a farmer in the 21st century. We are witnessing a historic convergence. Artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, drones, satellite systems, blockchains, robotics, cloud computing, and digital platforms are converging and transforming various businesses across the sector. Now, let me walk you through each of these, which the technologies, what they are making difference. First, we'll start with artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is being used for, say, disease prediction, crop monitoring, or yield forecasting, or soil analysis, or real-time advisory through mobile and voice-based platforms, and many more. AI systems can now identify the crop diseases early through image analysis. That is, if a farmer clicks the photographs of a leaf, and within seconds, an AI system can tell them what the disease is, what caused it, and what treatment we can apply. Now, IoT, that is Internet of Things. It uses sensors embedded in fields to monitor soil moisture, humidity, temperature, and crop health in real time. So earlier, the farmer used to irrigate the entire field. Now, instead of irrigating entire field uniformly, farmers can now provide exactly the right amount of water, exactly where it is needed, and exactly when it is needed. The next is drones. Drones are being used for crop spraying, field mapping, aerial surveillance, or crop health monitoring. Drone-based spraying can save up to 70 to 80% in operational time as compared to traditional manual spraying. The task that previously required dozens of farm workers and several days can be completed by a single drone operator in few hours. Next comes robotics and automation. They support automated planting, precision harvesting, and farm management. Robots can work around the clock, even in conditions that are dangerous for human workers. Next comes blockchain technology. So, blockchain technology is transforming food supply chain transparency by recording every step of a food product's journey from the field to the shelf. The blockchain creates tamper-proof, verifiable record. Now, satellites and big data analytics support hyper-local weather forecasting, climate risk prediction, and also precision agriculture analytics. at very large scale. Data from satellites can help predict crop failures weeks in advance, giving governments and the farmers time to respond. Now, in India, digital public infrastructure through several important government initiatives are accelerating digital transformation in agriculture. Say PM Kisan scheme, which provides direct income support to millions of farmers. ENAM, that is Electronic National Agriculture Market, which digitally connects agriculture markets, allowing farmers to sell their product to buyers across the country without physical intermediaries. Now, next is Soil Health Card. This scheme supports scientific soil management. Now, AgriStack, which is creating digital farmer identities and building national digital agricultural ecosystem. Kisan Drone Scheme, which promotes drone-based crop monitoring and precision spraying. Next slide, please. Today's youth in agriculture are not just farmers. They are the innovators, technology developers, agri-tech entrepreneurs, digital advisors, as well as sustainability leaders. They are building the solutions that the world needs. Some examples of innovations which the young people are driving are climate smart and organic farming, or insect-based feed systems, digital advisory tools, or circular farming and waste reduction. The global AI in agriculture market is projected to grow to nearly $8.5 billion by 2030, as per the estimates. The key drivers include precision farming adoption, smart irrigation systems, autonomous agricultural machinery, climate prediction demand, and AI-powered crop monitoring. But transformation without inclusion is not a transformation. It is merely a shift in who benefits. Technology-driven transformation must be inclusive, affordable, transparent. It should be ethical and human-centered. Now, equal access to AI benefits is not a luxury. It is a requirement for justice as well as sustainability. We must ensure that the benefits of agricultural innovation reach the smallholder farmers, including young women farmers and the indigenous community across the developing countries. Please move on to the next slide. Next slide, please. So, where do we go from here? What does the way forward look like? The path to sustainable, inclusive, digitally empowered agri-food systems requires collaboration among many entities, governments, educational institutions, developmental organizations, private industries, researchers, and farming communities. No single actor can achieve this alone. Only through collective, coordinated action, we can build the resilient and future-ready agri-food systems that the world needs. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring this together with a few closing thoughts. Agri-food systems are central to global sustainability, economic growth, food security, and climate resilience. The challenges we face are real, they are urgent, and they are growing. But so are our tools, our knowledge, and our collective will to act. Technology, digital innovation, and artificial intelligence are not magic solutions. They are powerful tools. Tools that, in the right hands and with the right values, can transform agriculture into a smarter, fairer, and more sustainable system for everyone. Youth are the driving force behind this transformation. Their innovation potential, their digital adaptability, their entrepreneurial skills, and their passion for better world are exactly what this challenge requires. But they cannot do it alone. They need education, they need connectivity, they need capital, they need mentorship, they need policies to support them, they need institutions that believe in them. So, empowering young people with education, technology, digital access, and leadership opportunity is not just a development strategy. It is our most important investment in ensuring that the sustainable development goals becomes a reality, that no one goes hungry, and that every young person has the opportunity to contribute to and benefit from the food systems of the future. Thank you once again. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pefita. It's so insightful. Thank you for help us to understand the tools of technology to help the youth to transform the agri-food system. We have a few questions in our chat box. First is from Agim Dimastiar. What is the impact of AI in the future? I want to know whether AI will replace human jobs in the future. And the second question from Suhartini to Dr. Pavita, is it possible using AI in agri-food system can predict deforestation in the next?
The first
So you
question
have
was,
time to answer. The first question is, what is the impact of AI in the future? I want to know whether it can be replace human jobs in the future or not.
so it will not replace human jobs. It can replace the human who cannot use AI. So nowadays, it is like everyone must know how to use AI. So it will not replace humans, only it can replace the human who cannot effectively use AI. So using AI, our time will reduce. The work which requires more time can be completed in less amount of time by using AI.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pavita. And the next question, we have the second question. Is it possible using AI in agri-food system can predict for deforestation in the next?
Is it possible to predict? What
Is it
was
possible using AI in agri-food system can predict for deforestation?
deforestation? Yes, it can be used.
So that's the answer from Dr. Pavita. Thank you so much. If you still have question, we still have time, you can raise your hand. Oh, there's another question from Nana to Dr. Pavita. What are the major challenges in adapting AI and digital technologies in the agricultural sector, especially in tropical climate area?
So the challenges are like, while using AI, there are many challenges. The first of all, when we are, so I was not too much technical because the audience was mix of technical and non-technical. Now, in terms of technical terms, if you are building some AI models, the first of all, it starts with the data set. So whether you have a proper data set with you for training a model, So once you train the model, then we can use those trained models for various applications afterwards. But the first task is we should have a proper data to train the model. So having a proper data is what I think is like other panelists may have a different opinion. So having proper data for training a model is the biggest challenge which we usually face during our research as well.
Thank you. It's so insightful for us, especially as a youth who will drive the agri-food system transformation for the future. Thank you so much, Dr. Pevita. Let's give a round online applause for Dr. Pevita. Thank you. And we will move to Dr. Ayas Mukaram Sy. He will present the perspective on engineering sustainable food system. So Dr. Ayas, time is yours 15 minutes from now.
Just a minute. I'm sharing the slide. Is it visible?
Yes.
Is it visible? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. So first of all, before any delay, I would like to thank Dr. Dachon Zhang and Dr. Pavita Nuji. They are really good, scientists. They are doing really good in computer science and artificial intelligence because they are the hardcore people, those who actually work core to the artificial intelligence. And as already discussed by Dr. Dachon Zhang about like how actually technically you can use AI in a food science and understand different perspective of artificial intelligence in food science when it comes to technicality. And after that, Dr. Pavita, who actually given his insights about how AI can be used in different perspectives, because nowadays it's very important to have awareness. Nowadays we don't have awareness, and because of lack of awareness the youth doesn't actually understand how they can use AI, where they can use AI, how actually AI can transform the agriculture, because nowadays it's very difficult for even the people in agriculture due to the low income wages and a lot of issues with agriculture. The youth is moving from agriculture to technology, and the main purpose of today's webinar or today's discussion is to bring them back to agriculture where they can actually use technology and make agriculture great, because there is no any culture better than agriculture. You can't grow apple by using apple. You need to have agriculture in order to grow apple. Okay. So today I will be speaking with mixed technology and food systems where we can actually use AI normally, the way the things are going, the way the people, especially the youth, understand without having a technical, like too much technical knowledge, like how they can actually integrate AI and where they should start. Because one of the biggest problem of current youth is they don't have the resources. That is the biggest issue. And when the resources are there, they don't understand. They think using AI, you need to have a lot of subscriptions of GPTs, lot of information, lot of data, but it's not like that. You can start from home and you don't need to be scientist for that. So basically you need to have a basic awareness about AI. So today I will speak about it. So the global challenge nowadays, the world is facing a biggest issue of a biggest population. So growing population needs more food needs more resources need more expertise people, those who can actually generate more food to meet the demands of global population. And if you see, by 2050 the population will reach 9.7 billion, and the pressure on our current resources is like 70% of fresh water is used for farming, and that is the biggest concern. We need to understand, because the way we are using the water, it's getting very serious for us to actually understand how we can utilize in a sustainable way. And even the climate change is also having, a lot of people are started speaking about it, and it's very important to understand what climate change effects are helping, changing the farm and the current issues. So if you see, the changing weather patterns are actually decrease the yield by 25%, and even the waste. So one third of all waste comes from our all use, not even in agriculture, but also at home. So I'll be speaking about that also. So now, if you see in now, Dr. Pavita just recently said where the core AI applications can be useful. We can use in agriculture, as a precision agriculture, to understand, as she already mentioned about how we can use IoTs, drones, remote sensing, data, satellite data, precision farming, smart protection using image analysis, yield prediction using data. If you have data, because data is the key ingredient for AI, because without data you won't be able to actually understand or to do predictive analysis. And if you have data, you can do predictive analysis using machine learning algorithms. So there are different ways that how AI work. So in order to understand how AI work, you need to go into technically details. And what I feel, not everyone here is having a capability or capacity to understand the large language models. So I'm going to leave this because it's a bit complex topic. Okay. So the nutrition informatics, you can also learn the predictive analysis in nutrition. If you understand the data, if you understand the nutrition science, you can actually design the nutrition sensitive agriculture. You can design the seeds which can actually provide a typical crop using the resilience crop, or maybe using a nutrition sensitive agriculture where you can develop the seeds, biofortify seeds using AI predicted models. You can use it for personalized nutrition. You can use it for digital twin technology, which can be helpful, like combining all technologies together using IoTs, sensors, data from machine learning, I mean satellite. So if you combine everything, you can actually design technology for agriculture. The smart supply chains, you can also use AI in supply chains, which can actually help you for a dynamic logistics, demand forecasting, and blockchain tracking, as already mentioned by Dr. Pavita. And youth is the center of everything, because if you want to do something, you need to start focusing on youth, because youth actually decides what's going to be future, how you can actually integrate your knowledge in your day-to-day activities, as already mentioned by someone, like how AI will replace the job. AI will replace the job for those who don't learn AI. So it's very important to learn something. And now the government's also making compulsory that basic understanding of AI. It's going to be, I mean, compulsory for most of the governments in the world. Slowly, the governments are adapting. They're trying to make availability of AI a basic information or a basic system where they can actually start learning. And I think, personally, I think now we are not in that phase. The way we started pre-COVID, it was very difficult, but post-COVID, the things are getting very easy. You can do a lot of things even by sitting at home. One of the example is like we are sitting at home enjoying this webinar from different continents and different parts of the world. This is the development. So similarly, AI can also bring these kind of developments further. So for that, we need to focus on youth, and we need to also tell youth that to focus on right energy, to utilize their energy in the right way, in the right direction. Okay. And like if you want to do something quickly without not learning technically large language model, small language model, what are those technical things, you can start at home. You can use, basically now people know that chat gpt, they can use chat gpt, they can search what kind of applications are available in country, like in the country where you're living. You can actually understand there are a lot of applications are available already, which you can see. You can use some data to understand food waste. You can actually predict food waste, like you can understand the ideas. If you tell that, if you give the ideas or if you get the questions to AI, he can help you. And if you learn appropriate AI, like the prompts in the prompts which we need to give to the AI, then it can actually provide you some information, like how you can use AI in agriculture and food. And nowadays, AI is getting so much popular. Previously, the efficiency without AI was 60%, but since the AI is integrated, the precision agriculture has gone 92% efficiency. Can you imagine? If you train people, if you tell them, if you show them, it can improve the efficiency drastically. And even it can save the water also. So previously, the traditional way, the efficiency was low, but when people started using AI, especially in precision agriculture, you can see that we have a growth 20 to 25% significant growth in the crop production. And agri-tech market is supposed to raise by 30 billion by 2030. AI and IoTs will take over and the growth will reach $30 billion. And it will be only possible when we have youth who understands AI, who is ready to adopt AI, who is ready to face the problems and design the solutions for the people, especially for the farmers. And that is why we need to promote reverse migration of people from tech to agriculture by bringing technology to agriculture, not by going from agriculture to technology. Okay. So now I will be speaking small. I'll be speaking about the food waste. So food waste start at home. Every day, if you eat food, sometimes you don't like something, sometimes you take some extra food. So the food waste start at home. So if you see, 61% waste comes from household things, and then remaining 26% and 13% comes from service and retail market. So this is why I would like to tell you how you can start at home to avoid the food waste. Okay, so I will be giving you some brief about how you can actually understand the food waste. So I'm going you the digital tool build for how you can use smartphone to be a sustainability superpower person who can actually use AI at home and do the some exercise. So you can use nowadays there are a lot of applications available you can download in different countries. The different people has designed some applications where you can actually understand. By using those applications you can predict if the food is degraded, if the perishability is there, like if the food is consumable, if there is some problem, if there is some issue, you can actually scan, and then the AI application will tell you whether the food is good or not. So what you can do, you can actually download those application and start learning about it. And even you can ask AI how it has been designed, what model it has been used, what data it has been used. So you can actually do interactive learning with AI. And the computer visions, like if you use a mobile, everyone is having a smartphone, and if you download those applications, how it works, it actually use your existing camera, it use existing function, and it actually gives you the current insights. And those applications have been designed by some computer scientists and artificial intelligence expert, which can be useful for you. So what you can do, you can use their existing database or information and do something at home by using their existing technology and application. And there is also you can design some recipes also. What you can do, you can use this prompt like I have just posted. You can take a picture, or maybe later on the education team will send you the presentation. You can use this prompt and actually do the recipe analysis or design. So smart shopping you can also use using different applications there are available. You can use applications and then do smart shopping. You can design your monthly budget plan. You can design how your shopping can be sustainable. You can also design how cost effective you are doing your shopping when you go for a monthly shopping. And even there are some smart composting nowadays. There are some organizations those who have made smart composting at home, so you don't need to go outside for composting. There are some solutions available. You can bring those solutions and use your food waste to use that food waste to create a composting which can be used for your home gardens. Okay. And if you use these, definitely you can reduce the waste by 45%, and even you can save some money, and even you can help to reduce the carbon offset. I don't want to go in detail since we have limited time. I want to be, quickly, I want to give you a quick insights. And you can start the 7-day AI zero waste challenge at home, where you need to understand. I'm going to show you some applications which we can use. After using that, you can monitor, you can use it, you can follow this ideology to understand AI, how you can use at home. So there are some applications like Olio from UK, Too Good To Go from Denmark, Kicho from UK. So these are some applications. And even there is one application from Gizi from Indonesia, which can be used for nutrition, and Munch from Hungary, and even there is Orbins from Netherlands. So these are some applications designed and developed by some scientists, those who are working in AI, These applications actually help you to understand and to design, to think, to rebuild, to stop the waste, to understand the nutrition. Lot of things you can go and learn about it and read about it. So what I feel, this is the platform like where you came, you understand, and now I think the youth needs to have a awareness and they need to have education. So always try to find out these kind of events where you can go and you can learn and share. You should understand and you should educate yourself, and in order to expand your knowledge or to expand your expertise or to understand more in AI or maybe any other field related to food and agriculture, you can join World Food Forum youth chapters. Every country have their youth chapters where you can do the networking, talk people, understand, and actually solve the global issues using AI and different technologies. And what I feel, youth is the driving force who we need to focus on youth, where youth can actually do the advocate for the policies. They can learn technology faster than all people. I'm pretty sure the Gen Zs are smarter than millennials and even the other generations. So I don't think so that we need to tell them or we need to give them special training for that. Even by using their own information, their own understanding, they can learn digital tools quickly. And it's very important to the networking. Without networking, you won't be able to understand like what's happening all over the world. Now this webinar gives you the information, like we are coming from different part of the world. Someone is sitting in some other continent, someone is sitting in other continent, but we are together sharing the knowledge. And that's what I feel. Create, collaborate, connect, create, co-create, collaborate. This is what I want to give the message. You are here, learn together, and understand together, and you can develop and design some wonderful solutions for the world. And I would like to say thank you so much for all the stakeholders for giving this opportunity to design this webinar. And I would like to also thank Dr. Dachaun and Dr. Pavita for coming up and giving us insights, because this is very important. Because there is some youth, they wanted to learn something technical, technically smart information in food and agriculture. And I'm pleased that you came and you have given your time and you shared your knowledge. I think this webinar will definitely help them to grow further and to understand and share their knowledge. Looking forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ayas. Very insightful for us as the Gen Z. And now we have some question, or someone already raised hand there. Also, DPKP Haksara, you may now speak. You have time to ask directly to Ayas.
Thank you for
Yep.
the yeah. I'm sorry. So I just have one small question.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm not unsure how can we make sure that AI and sustainable food system does not only become a high level concept. I mean, it will be truly reaches small farmers and young people in rural communities, because they are the real actors who face daily challenge in our food production, especially in Indonesia.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I feel, it's not a big thing, why it's getting famous, because now everyone is speaking about AI and sustainability, and that is only the reason we are getting it like fashion. So we shouldn't take it in a fashion. In everyday day-to-day activity, we do sustainability, but we don't understand how we are doing sustainability. For an example, your mother, if she's cooking some food, what she do? She try to organize the resources in a smart way, where you think she will say, okay, we have some leftover from yesterday night or maybe from the morning. What she do, she try to remake that food and give it to you so that you shouldn't waste that food. So the sustainability is already used by you, but the only problem is you don't know how you are actually using the sustainability. So the point is that we need to create an awareness among the youth that sustainability is not too much technical thing. Whatever you use it, whatever you do in day-to-day activities, you do sustainable things in lot of ways. For an example, you are going to the market, you always carry your bag. And why you are carrying back? Because you say, oh, I don't want to spend money in the market, and I don't want to create a lot of mess or lot of waste. So what you do, you take the bag from home, you go to the market, you bring the food, and you keep the bag with you. So this is a sustainable way because you are not creating burden on the resources. You are not doing extra wasting of resources by using plastic. And like there are several ways where you can actually understand you are sustainable, but the only problem is you don't know like what is sustainable. So first we need to create the concept, like we need to clear the concept that you all are sustainable. Only the point is how you can be more sustainable. This can be the point. What we can do, we can create an awareness. We can understand. Like you can go and ask ChatGPT, hey, can you please tell me how I can be a sustainable in day-to-day life? He just, basic things. He will tell you, you are already sustainable. He will tell you the way you do this work, the way you do this work, the way you do these things, they are sustainable. If you want to be more sustainable, he will say, can I suggest you 10 best ways to be a more sustainable? Then you can learn those things. So similarly, you can create the awareness, especially the farmers. The farmers don't speak English. So what can we do? We can use actual the local language, because now AI can be also used in local language, where we can take the AI and tell the farmer, can you please talk AI in your local language? What AI will do? AI will talk him in a local language. And when the AI will talk him in local language, he will be surprised. He will be see, oh, he's speaking in my language. That means this is something serious, because this is, the personal bonding comes when something actually happens in the local language. So if you try to, find out the ways, I think sustainability is not a big thing. It's not fashion. We do follow sustainability. Everything can be achieved if you create an awareness. I hope my answer is helpful for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ayas. There is some question in the chat box, but you can answer in
Mhm.
the chat box as well. Whether you can type there or yeah. So thank you so much, Ayas. It's very insightful for us. Let's give
Thank you so much.
online applause for Ayas. We will move to our last but not least. Our next speaker is Gideon Eime. He will speak about AI for nutrition system and youth food behaviors. So, Gideon, it's your time now.
All right. Thank you so much. I feel I feel quite, having listened to all the great speakers, and then it's more like I should just agree with what all of you have said and then close this section, because all of you have done amazingly well. Thank you, everyone. So I would be speaking from a bit um, sort of unique perspective, because which is around nutrition systems, which is also at the like outcome level of food agri-food system, because whatever we are doing to try to produce more food, produce healthier foods, it's so that people can actually consume them. Yeah, at that consumption level, it's actually where I am based. And also, to add to what everyone has said, like I mean, if you ask anyone who is like a core computer scientist, they will tell you that at least 90% of the time, whatever they are building or whatever solution they're actually making, it's not actually for them, like for computer science per se. It is always to solve human problem, and then human problem cuts across different areas, both in the finance, of course, agriculture, in every part of the world. So that actually made me at a point when I wanted to develop a mobile application sometime several years ago, before I started getting into digital technology. Like I kind of engaged an expert who actually did his job, but then because of like a lack of clear communication, and the app did not fully achieve the goal, because I'm the nutrition expert. I know what I was looking out for, but then the computer professional would not know all the nutrition aspects of what I wanted, and could only build based on what has been communicated. So like all I'm just trying to highlight there is that like all of us in the agri-food system domain, we need to get engaged in digitalization in AI to be able to advance our work. So around food environment, I'll be highlighting what shapes food choices. You can see like that illustration where like the eye is meant to be pointing towards whole foods, fresh foods, and healthier food options. But then there has been a lot of industrial shift, which has actually changed, like people's mindset. Of course, alongside like other factors, and then the aggressive television marketing and all of that media marketing has now lured people to actually prefer foods that are less healthier. Then what that means is that like we also have to for us to properly monitor the nutrition system, we also need to integrate digital systems. So a part of a work I did previously was also around building databases, that helps to actually collect, that actually houses, nutritional, information of locally consumed foods, which are not actually covered in some of the very known food composition databases, and of course there was no database for prepackaged foods in Nigeria at the time. So we also developed the digital system for that. Then in addition, one other work that we did was what we call multimodal food labeling, where we try to develop an AI system that would just scan the labels of food products, and at the point where it scans them, it goes through several forms of extraction, using different techniques, AI-based techniques, the computer vision and NLP, extract all the information and tries to take information from the ingredients and the nutrients, to now categorize these foods, if they are more healthier, less healthier compared with products of that category. They're actually very known, ways that they are being classified. We have the NOVA classification, which categorizes food based on their processing levels, and also that it's also matched with the nutrient profiling because of the concerns of processing being the only way of saying that a food is healthy. We also looked at the nutrient profile. So now what this shows is that with AI, it becomes very, very easy to monitor, what foods come into the market, when you have built this kind of solutions. And at the end of the day, we we could actually identify that for instance, what is called the ultra processed food, which is widely known in the food science and nutrition space as like the less healthier categories because of their processing levels. We were able to like dictate majority of them. You can see up to 255 food products were actually dictated, and then only like few of them were missed. We also had like some close issues between classifying processed foods into ultra processed foods. So I don't want to go so much into the technical details, but what I just want to show is just the the value of all these AI-powered systems, what it can do. And of course, it was also able to extract from the labels and also correctly classify them, the various nutrient profiles. Individually, it worked very well. You can see about 76 to 80%. And of course, the ability to classify all of them was quite low, which we are actually working on, trying to also expand our sample scope so that it can actually, train well, and then the models can perform better over time. Then also, it is also easier to visualize, in the campus, this spots that are red or shows like advertisements, billboards of unhealthy foods, at a glance, all of these things, geoinformatics, it's also made possible because of all these digital systems. It is very, very easy for you to actually assess that. And then also we assess the various stores, across 3 campuses in Nigeria, and you can see that the stores that contain more healthier foods, healthier foods that are both available and affordable, you can see the university in the center had more of a green spots, scattered across compared to other 2 institutions. So with this, we have actually solved certain barriers and problems which could not have been like a very, very easy. I could have perhaps needed to start trying to learn so much about geography and mapping, perhaps go and spend more years in the school and learn all of that. But then because of artificial intelligence, digital systems, you can actually easily map all these things and use it to solve problems. Then also we also got to analyze social media communications from food industries to identify what techniques they're actually making use of to drive consumer engagement. And then
Gideon,
yes,
excuse me.
please.
The slides are not working. Can you please press on
Okay.
presentation, because we are still seeing first slide only.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. Yes.
I would share again.
Yeah. Reshare and present. Click on presentation. So that means it will be well organized and people can understand actually.
Okay.
Yes. Click on presentation.
Yeah, I just
Then
clicked. Is that working now?
yeah, it's working, but it's we can see only first slide. I mean, click on the that logo of presentation. So then it can in the
Yes.
bottom there is now it's perfect. So
All
go on
right.
the slides. Yes,
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
So all right. Thank you. I actually apologize for that. I didn't know that I didn't set all of this. So just to all of this was where I was talking about the food industries, employing digital techniques and there's need to actually keep up pace. And here I talked about all the data, dietary assessment tools. Then this was the core place where I was giving an overview of the AI solution which we developed that can actually extract information from prepackaged food and then classify them based on their healthiness. And then I was talking about, the outcomes, how it was able to kind of, classify these products, in which categories they fell, and we achieved very good success rates with ultra processed food. And then also it could also extract these nutrients as well. So I was also talking about the maps, with the help of digital technologies, we will also delving into geoinformatics, integrating them in the nutrition space, so that at a glance you can actually visualize which of the stores, actually have more healthier products, across different campuses, in the country. And then too, I was now talking about, food industry, social media, communications. Hence that for, for the first instance, for the first work, where we have developed a database which is currently expanding, and now we have also tested a multimodal extraction system. What we are now building is a recommender system that can actually, when people type in their options and their preferences of what they want, the system brings out clearly scientific evidence on like which healthier options they can go for, and that will be devoid of any form of industry impact. And of course also help people identify at what point influencers or industries are using persuasive techniques to want to lure them to buy products. So that's just like an overview of my work. And in summary, just like what so many of us have done, I didn't just want to just talk about this without highlighting this. Yes, I had a background in human nutrition before I moved into data science. And now that AI has actually become very, very accessible, it is very easy for you to start. It's important that, like, just like Dr. Pavita said, AI is not going to take away jobs. It's going to take away jobs of those who cannot, integrate AI in their work. So, like, you have several courses online which you can start. If you want to even delve into some of the technical components, there are so many AI code editors, what is now called the vibe coding, where you can start. And there are also free online, tools that can guide you through how you can even start building AI solutions on your own. So I think that the more you get involved and you start working on that, you develop local solutions. Nobody can solve the problem in your community better than you, because you understand it perfectly well, more than other persons who don't have that clear, details of the problem. So please, this is just to actually encourage everyone that as a young person, AI can actually advance your work. It can make your work easy, and of course, please get involved into it. There are different aspects of the agri-food system where AI can be applied, and I don't want to go into that because previous speakers have actually highlighted that. So yes, just while I round up, I just want to say that in this age, it's important that every young person, every young farmer should try as much as possible to see how they can use artificial intelligence to advance their work, because it will make life both easier and their work more efficient if they integrate it in their work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gideon. We give a round of applause for Gideon. Thank you for the presentation. And we already have a question in the chat box. from jurusan Agribusiness FPUHO. According to the presenter, what indicators are used to assess the success of youth-driven agri-food transformation? Didn't you have time to answer?
Okay, yes, thank you so much. What indicators are used to assess the success of youth-driven food transformation? All right, so yes, there are actually several i- indicators depending on which aspect of this agri-food system transformation that we are looking at. For instance, the work which I have shared, we actually leverage on some of the indicators that has been available, scientifically proven. There's the WHO nutrient profiling system. For instance, if you are going to get into food production, you have all of this kind of indicators available, which would help you checkmate are your products containing as much quality nutrients as has been recommended, compared to other products. So yes, it's important. Number one, in summary, the success comes with developing solutions that can actually solve problems. Sometimes that's why I keep talking about everyone getting involved, because when you're actually involved, you understand the problem in your community better than everyone else. And the more everyone starts creating low resource AI solutions that can actually solve their immediate needs, it starts to show the value of AI systems, and then that can also be transformed into much more bigger architecture that can solve more larger problems. Thank you. Sorry, I can't hear you. You need to unmute.
Oh, sorry. Thank you so much, Gideon. Ahmad Nur raise hand. You can ask question directly. Ahmad, you have time. Fast.
Okay.
Ahmad,
Yeah.
are you there?
If he's not, I think there's actually a question on the chat which I can answer, and then
Okay, thank you.
except we have more time. Yeah, but it says, what are the biggest challenges in implementing digital technology in rural areas, and what is the relationship between agricultural technology and sustainable development? So yes, the challenges of implementing digital technology, one, I think the major challenge, it's always openness to adopt new technology. Sometimes people are not people don't adopt it due to several factors. One, lack of knowledge of how to actually make use of these tools. Secondly, personal beliefs and perceptions about what they think about what this solution is going to the potential harms it can cause. And of course, income, internet, and all of those factors. Yes. So currently there are now several AI offline solutions which can also help with the farmer connectivity. Then, of course, agricultural technology and sustainable development. The sustainable development, for instance, if we look at it from the lens of the SDG goal, it's actually very, very, centered on agriculture. SDG goal 2, and all of that. It's also trying to advance, to actually curb hunger, and then when you actually go deeper into the sub goals, and the practical ways around it. It highlights the importance of leveraging technology to actually, produce foods in a way that it can meet the teeming population. Thank you. I hope I
Thank you.
have done
Thank you
justice.
so much. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Gideon. Very insightful. Let's give our heart reaction to all our speakers today. Thank you so much for all our speakers. As we come to the end of today's discussion, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to all of our distinguished speakers for sharing the valuable insight and also experience and inspiring perspective on technology, digital innovation, artificial intelligence, and computational approaches in transforming agri-food system. And today's discussion has shown us that AI, digital technology, and computational innovation are no longer distant concepts, but practical tools that can help improve food systems, strengthen nutrition, support sustainable agri-food, agriculture, and empower women and youth, and create smarter, more resilient communities around the world. We have also seen that the importance of bringing AI into agriculture um, in ways that are ethical, accessible, inclusive, and responsive to the real needs of farmers and local communities. And we have also learned that the future of agriculture and food system is not only about innovation itself, but also about inclusion, sustainability, and youth engagement and empowering communities, especially women and young people, to become active drivers of change. As the next generation of leader innovators, researchers, and change makers, youth must not only be included in conversation about the future of agri-food system, but also be placed at the center of designing, developing, and implementing technological and sustainable solutions for global challenges. I will also like to extend our gratitude to all participants joining us online from different parts of the world. Thank you for your active participation, thoughtful questions, and enthusiasm throughout this session. And special thanks as well to the For Better Global Coalition and all collaboration organizations for making this meaningful global discussion possible. And we hope today's conversation will inspire continued collaboration, new ideas, and concrete action toward building more resilient, inclusive, technology-driven, and sustainable agri-food system for the future. And finally, let us continue working together across borders, discipline, and generation, and ensure that technology, AI, and innovation truly serve people and communities around the world in ethical, accessible, and meaningful ways. So thank you once again to everyone for joining us today. Stay safe, stay inspired, and we look forward to meeting you again in future discussion. Have a wonderful day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Now, I would like to hand the session back to the organizing committee. Thank you so much for all our speakers and everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.